Hey there, can I ask you something personal? Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you just can't feel that spark with someone new? Like there's this invisible wall between you and the idea of falling in love again. If you're nodding right now or feeling a little called out, don't worry, you're not alone. A lot of us go through phases where love feels impossible. Maybe you're overthinking it, or maybe there's something deeper going on. Today I want to talk about why this happens. There are some really interesting and, honestly, eye-opening reasons why we struggle to connect with someone new. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's dive into 10 powerful reasons that might be holding you back from love. By the end of this, I hope you'll have a clearer picture of what's going on and how to start breaking down those barriers. Ready? Let's go. There are 10 reasons why this happens. The last 5 are the most effective ones. Being the first, fear of intimacy. Have you ever felt like you're keeping people at arm's length without really understanding why? Fear of intimacy might be holding you back. This fear often comes from past experiences where getting close to someone led to pain or betrayal. Maybe you've been hurt before by a partner, a close friend, or even family. Your mind could be saying, if I don't get too close, I can't get hurt again. It's a protective mechanism, but here's the thing. It also blocks you from forming new, meaningful connections. It's like building a fortress to keep danger out, but it also keeps love out. Finishing with the first reason, we start with the second, which is low self-esteem. Let me ask you something. Do you believe you deserve love? Be honest. Sometimes, when we struggle with self-esteem, it's hard to imagine that someone else could truly care for us. You might think, why would they love me? I'm not good enough. Those thoughts can be so loud, they drown out any chance of feeling love for someone new. The problem is, this becomes a cycle feeling. Unworthy makes it harder to connect, and the lack of connection reinforces those feelings of unworthiness. It's like being stuck in your own head, and it's exhausting. A short break to remind you that many videos will be posted on this channel that will help you in the future. So don't forget to subscribe and leave a like and a comment with your opinion. The third reason is attachment issues. Do you ever feel like your relationships follow a pattern? Maybe you pull away when things get too serious, or you feel anxious if someone doesn't text back immediately. That could be linked to your attachment style, which is shaped by how you bonded with your caregivers as a child. For example, if you grew up with inconsistent affection or felt neglected, you might find it hard to trust people fully or fear rejection, even when there's no real danger. These patterns can make it incredibly difficult to feel safe enough to fall in love. The fourth reason is fear of abandonment. Here's a tough question. Are you afraid of being left behind? A fear of abandonment can be paralyzing. Maybe you've been in situations where someone you cared deeply for walked away, whether it was a breakup, a death, or a friend who drifted apart. That fear gets imprinted on you, and before you know it, you're avoiding relationships altogether. Why? Because it feels safer to not love at all than to risk loving and losing someone again. It's a defense mechanism, but it's a lonely one. The next reason is unresolved grief. Do you ever feel like you're still carrying the weight of a past relationship? Sometimes, grief isn't about someone dying. It could be the end of a relationship or even unspoken words from someone who's no longer in your life. If you haven't fully processed that pain, it can leave no room for someone new. It's like trying to plant a new flower in soil that's still holding on to the roots of the old one. Healing takes time, and that's okay. But until you face that grief, opening your heart to someone else can feel impossible. 6. Emotional burnout. Ever feel like your emotional batteries are just drained? Emotional burnout can make the idea of starting something new feel exhausting. Maybe you've been through intense relationships or personal challenges that have left you feeling depleted. When you're running on empty, it's tough to muster the energy to invest in someone new. It's like trying to run a marathon without any training. You're just not up for it. Reason 7. Unrealistic expectations. Do you have a mental checklist for your ideal partner that's a mile long? Sometimes we set the bar so high consciously or not that no real person can ever measure up. This can be due to past disappointments or societal pressures, leading us to seek perfection as a way to avoid getting hurt again. But here's the catch. perfection doesn't exist. Holding out for it can keep you from appreciating the genuine connections right in front of you. 8. Have you ever been infatuated with someone to the point where it feels like an obsession? That's called limerence, a state of intense, involuntary attraction. While it can feel exhilarating, it often focuses more on the idea of the person rather than who they truly are. This can create unrealistic standards and make it difficult to form authentic connections with new people, as real relationships may not measure up to the idealized version in your mind. Reason 9. Fear of vulnerability. Does opening up to someone new make you feel exposed or anxious? Fear of vulnerability is common, especially if you've been hurt before. Letting someone in means risking rejection or judgment, which can be daunting. This fear can act as a barrier, preventing you from forming deep connections, because you're too guarded to let anyone truly get close. Last reason, and in my opinion the most important reason, past relationship patterns. Do you find yourself attracted to the same type over and over, even if it hasn't worked out in the past? Sometimes, we're drawn to familiar patterns, even when they're unhealthy. This repetition can stem from unresolved issues or unmet needs from earlier in life. Recognizing these patterns is crucial because continuing to engage in them can hinder your ability to connect with someone new in a healthy, fulfilling way. We've reached the end of the video. I hope I've helped you with any problems you're having. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and always leave a comment about your opinion.